You have arrived in Geneva, Switzerland, a great city with nice culture. Let's reveal the top 10 things to do in Geneva and smash that subscribe button. At top 10, the Jet d'eau. This thing is insane. It's a massive fountain that shoots water over 400 feet into the air. You can see it from pretty much anywhere around the lake, and trust me, you'll want to get a picture with this beast. But the Jet d'eau is more than just a pretty face. It's actually got a pretty interesting history. You see, it started as a safety valve for the city's hydraulic power network back in the 1800s. Basically, when the water pressure got too high, they needed a way to release it. And boom, the Jet d'eau was born. Over time, it became a symbol of Geneva, and they even moved it to its current location in the middle of the lake. Now, it's one of the most photographed fountains in the world, and for good reason. It's just so damn impressive. So make sure you check out the Jet d'eau when you're in Geneva. It's a must-see for any visitor. You can take a boat tour to get up close and personal or just admire it from afar. And hey, if you're feeling adventurous, you can even try to get sprayed by it. Top 9, St. Pierre Cathedral. This majestic building has been standing tall for over 850 years, and it's seen a lot in its time. The architecture is a mix of different styles, from Romanesque to Gothic, and it's absolutely stunning. I mean, the details on the facade alone are enough to keep you captivated for hours. But the real magic happens when you step inside. The stained glass windows, the soaring arches, the sheer scale of the place. It's enough to take your breath away. But here's the thing, you gotta climb the North Tower. I know stairs, but trust me, the view from the top is worth every single step. You get a panoramic vista of the entire city, the lake, and the majestic Alps in the distance. It's like something out of a postcard, seriously. I remember I was huffing and puffing by the time I got to the top, but the moment I saw that view, I forgot all about it. It was like all of Geneva was laid out before me. You could see the Jet d'eau shooting up in the distance, the boats crisscrossing the lake, the red rooftops of the old town. It was breathtaking. So, whether you're a history buff, an architecture nerd, or just looking for the perfect Instagram shot, St. Pierre Cathedral is a must-visit. Top 8, Parc des Bastions. This place is like the Central Park of Geneva, a green oasis right in the heart of the city. Now, Parc des Bastions is not just any park. It's got history, it's got culture, it's got giant chessboards. Seriously, you can play life-size chess here, how cool is that? But what really sets this park apart is the Reformation Wall. This massive wall is a monument to the key figures of the Protestant Reformation, and it's pretty impressive to see in person. You've got John, Calvin, Martin Luther, all the big names. It's like a history lesson carved in stone. But even if you're not a history buff, the wall is still worth checking out. It's just so grand and imposing. It makes you think about all the people who have walked these paths before you, all the events that have unfolded in this very spot. I remember spending an afternoon in Parc des Bastions, just wandering around, soaking up the atmosphere. Top 7, Red Cross and Red Crescent Museum. Now, I know museums can sometimes feel a bit stuffy, but trust me, this one is different. It's a powerful and moving experience that will stay with you long after you leave. The museum tells the story of the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, from its humble beginnings to its incredible work around the world today. You'll learn about the organization's humanitarian missions, its efforts to alleviate suffering during war and disaster, and its tireless fight for human dignity. But it's not just about facts and figures. The museum does an incredible job of putting a human face on the stories it tells. So, if you're looking for an experience that will challenge you, inspire you, and maybe even change your perspective on the world, make sure to add the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Museum to your Geneva itinerary. Top 6, on Lake Geneva. This massive lake dominates the city's landscape, and it's absolutely stunning. I mean, we've seen glimpses of it throughout this video, but trust me, nothing beats experiencing it firsthand. The water is this incredible shade of blue, and the views of the surrounding mountains are just breathtaking. You can literally see the Alps rising up in the distance. And the best part? There's so much to do on the lake. You can take a leisurely boat tour, rent a paddleboard and work on your tan, or even try your hand at wakeboarding or water skiing. One of my favorite things to do is to just grab a coffee and stroll along the lakeside promenade. There's always something going on, from street performers to local artisans selling their wares. It's a great place to people watch and soak up the vibrant atmosphere. Trust me, a day spent exploring Lake Geneva is a day well spent. Top 5. This city is known for its watchmaking heritage, and there's no better place to immerse yourself in that history than at the Patek Philippe Museum. Now, even if you're not a watch person, this museum is still worth checking out. It's home to one of the most impressive collections of timepieces in the world, with over 5 centuries of horological history on display. We're talking about intricate pocket watches from the 16th century, musical clocks that'll blow your mind, and of course, some of the most exquisite wristwatches you'll ever lay eyes on. But the Patek Philippe Museum is more than just a collection of pretty objects. It's a testament to the artistry, craftsmanship, and dedication that goes into creating these tiny masterpieces of engineering. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just appreciate fine craftsmanship, make sure to add the Patek Philippe Museum to your list. Top 4. Jardin Anglais. This beautiful park is situated right on the shores of Lake Geneva, and it's the perfect spot to escape the hustle and bustle of the city. Now, Jardin Anglais is known for its stunning flower clock. Seriously, this thing is a work of art. It's made entirely of thousands of colorful flowers and it's constantly changing with the seasons. But the park is more than just the flower clock. There are also beautiful fountains, sculptures, and even a bandstand where you can catch live music on certain days. And of course, you've got those stunning views of the lake and the mountains. It was the perfect way to recharge after a long day of exploring the city. Top 3. It's also a global hub for diplomacy and international cooperation. And there's no better place to see that in action than at the United Nations office at Geneva. You can take a guided tour of the Palais des Nations, the building that houses the UN office, and learn about the history of the organization and its work in areas like human rights, disarmament, and humanitarian aid. You might even get to see a real-life UN meeting in action. It was really eye-opening to see how the UN operates on a day-to-day basis and the impact it has on the world. Whether you're a political science nerd or just curious about how global diplomacy works, make sure to add the UN office in Geneva to your list. Top 2. Reformation Wall. But trust me, this monument deserves its own spotlight. It's not just a wall, it's a powerful symbol of religious history and a testament to the enduring legacy of the Protestant Reformation. Imagine this, a massive stone wall over 300 feet long, featuring towering statues of key figures from the Reformation. You've got John Calvin, the father of Calvinism, looking all serious and determined. You've got Martin Luther, the OG reformer, nailing his 95 Theses to the door. The wall also features inscriptions of key texts from the Reformation, and it's a powerful reminder of the ideas that shape not just religious history, but also Western civilization as a whole. It's one thing to read about history in a textbook, but it's another thing entirely to stand in the presence of a monument like this. Top 1. Mont Salève is a mountain that looms over Geneva, and trust me, the panoramic vista from the top is worth the trip alone. Now, you can hike to the summit if you're feeling adventurous, but there's also a cable car that will whisk you to the top in just a few minutes. And trust me, the views from the cable car are pretty spectacular too. Once you're at the top, get ready to be blown away. You'll have a 360-degree view of Geneva, Lake Geneva, the Jura Mountains, and the majestic Alps stretching out as far as the eye can see. But Mont Salève is more than just a pretty view. There are also hiking trails, paragliding opportunities, and even a restaurant where you can enjoy a meal with a view. It was the perfect way to end my trip to Geneva. Let's recap the best of Geneva, Switzerland. This city is a treasure trove of experiences, blending history, culture, and natural beauty seamlessly. We showed from the iconic Jet d'eau, which is one of the tallest fountains in the world, shooting water 140 meters into the air. It's a sight you can't miss. To the historical St. Pierre Cathedral, a masterpiece of Gothic architecture that dates back to the 12th century. Its archaeological site offers a fascinating glimpse into Geneva's past. The serene Parc des Bastions, a green oasis in the heart of the city, is perfect for a leisurely stroll. Don't miss the Reformation Wall, a monument that pays tribute to the leaders of the Protestant Reformation. To the thought-provoking Red Cross Museum, where you can learn about the humanitarian efforts that have shaped our world. The interactive exhibits make it a compelling visit for all ages. And the breathtaking views from Mont Salève, often referred to as the balcony of Geneva. Whether you hike or take the cable car, the panoramic views of the city and the Alps are simply stunning. Geneva has something to offer every traveler. From its rich history and cultural landmarks to its beautiful parks and engaging museums, there's always something new to discover. Don't forget to explore Geneva's world-renowned watchmaking industry and indulge in some luxury shopping. The city's boutiques offer a range of high-end products that are sure to impress. And of course, the culinary scene in Geneva is not to be missed. From traditional Swiss dishes to international cuisine, the city's restaurants and cafes cater to every palate. Remember, as the sun sets, Geneva transforms into a vibrant city with a lively nightlife. Whether you're looking for a quiet evening by the lake or a night out in the town, Geneva has it all. So, whether you're here for a short visit or a longer stay, Geneva promises an unforgettable experience. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of Switzerland's most captivating cities. We hope you enjoyed our tour of Geneva. Until next time, safe travels and subscribe to discover the world.